fast wagons, there are luxury wagons, and then there's the Audi RS6 Avant, the best of both worlds combined. 600 horsepower with a trunk in the back that somehow fits everything. Stick around and by the end you'll see why this car can easily handle your weekend road trip, and then gap a 911 on the way there while outclassing everything else in its own class. So let's start with the facts. Though this car was literally used to rob banks, the RS6 didn't come into this world politely either. The C5 was already wild, twin-turbo V8 all-wheel drive and understated looks. It was a missile with mom car vibes. Then Audi got greedy. The C6 RS6 dropped with a V10 from the Lamborghini Gallardo back when regulations were just a suggestion. Twin-turbo to hell, it was barely street legal. But it wasn't until the C7 that the RS6 became something else entirely. And here's where it gets really wild. The RS6 wasn't just fast, criminals across Europe specifically picked it for bank deeds, if you know what I mean. High-speed getaways, full trunks, Quattro grip. They used it because no other car could pull it off. You'll see exactly why the RS6 earned its dark reputation. But first let me tell you about the C8, your favorite, my favorite, God's favorite, the perfect one. This car didn't just continue the RS6 bloodline, it finished the formula. You've got a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, 591 horsepower, 800 Newton meters of torque, full-time Quattro, and launch control that feels like a black hole is pulling you in. But what makes the C8 different is that it's aggressive and elegant at the same time. That aggressive front end with the angular grills and headlights. Those headlights, bruh. Audi really struck well with them. They really do look way better than the regular A6 and previous RS6 generations. The wide body styling, factory. The stance, factory. The exhaust tone, factory. It's got presence, you see it in the rear view mirror, and you move. Not because it's flashy, but because it looks like it's gonna kill you on the way to brunch. It's actually so hard, I literally named my channel after this car. Seriously, is my all-time favorite. The C8 is the RS6 perfected. Fast enough to gap supercars, comfortable enough to daily, and cold enough to make you think, yeah, I'd break a casino in this. Criminals specifically picked the RS6 because the police couldn't catch them, spacious with insane acceleration, and it looks subtle enough to disappear into the crowd. They would rent one, fill the tank and the trunk to the brim with fuel, get what they could from the bank, and then run to the Netherlands through the Autobahn to ultimately burn the car and disappear forever. Crazy stuff. So if your car got its street rep from things I can barely mention on YouTube, it's not just a cool car but a straight legend. But here's where it gets real. You've probably heard of that RS6 crash on the Autobahn, not the minor one, the real one, the brutal one. Dude was reportedly going close to 300 kilometers per hour in the Autobahn in his C7 RS6 when a truck changed lanes without signaling. No time to react. He clipped the back of the trailer, got launched, and the RS6 ended up completely wrapped around a pole, split open like a soda can. The man's body was found hundreds of meters away, only half of it, and thus kerosene was left as its eternal theme song because some people apparently reported hearing it blasting in that RS6. That's not just a crash, that's a legend. That's the kind of ending that cements a car's legacy into something way deeper. It's violent, tragic, and weirdly poetic. The RS6 doesn't go out quietly. It kind of feels like a death machine. It looks like it can just turn on the owner whenever it feels like it's benefited enough from them. What makes the RS6 truly dangerous though, is that it hides all this insanity under daily driver practicality. It's got room for 5, air suspension, heated seats, and a lift-back trunk. You could drive your grandma to a funeral in it, or her funeral if you're like the dude I mentioned above, and still gap that 911 on the way there. And it's so stable, the faster you go, the calmer it feels. You're doing 250 kilometers per hour, and it feels like 120, a real death sentence, the confidence this thing gives you. That's part of the danger. It's the kind of car where you don't even know how fast you're going until you see the faces of the cars in your rearview mirror shrinking into dots, or the cops chasing you frantically. Let's talk looks, because Audi nailed the RS6's vibe better than any other brand with any other sleeper. Wagons usually look friendly, not this one. The RS6 looks like it's done time in a maximum security prison, and came out with better posture and more money. The C8 RS6, especially wide arches, low slung roofline, sheer length and size, the murderer front end. It looks like something Darth Vader would daily if he had kids. You don't need a crazy wrap or carbon hood, just black it out, give it some downpipes, and let the twin turbos scream. And when it's parked, it doesn't need to rev, it just sits there, lurking, waiting for its next victim, looking like it just buried another grandma behind a warehouse. Now let's get real. RS6 tuning is a cheat code. Stage 1, 700 horsepower. Full bolt-ons, 800 plus. Built engine and hybrids, you're chasing down McLarens in a wagon with dog hair in the back. And it holds it all like a champ. The drivetrain's tough. The ZF gearbox handles it. It was built with more in mind. Audi left performance on the table for people like us to grab. That's why the RS6 has such a strong cult following. It's not about being loud, it's about being effective. This is what you drive when you've got nothing left to prove but still want to smoke everything in your zip code. And let's not forget the ABT, MTM, or Audi Power Division models that exist alongside the RS6. Think of them kind of like Brabus for Mercedes. But each company has its own flavor. ABT usually focuses on aggressive styling tweaks and ECU tuning, pushing the RS6 up to around 720 to 750 horsepower, while keeping it surprisingly daily drivable. MTM goes all in on performance, often boosting engines to 800 plus horsepower, and with their Stage 4 kit, some RS6s can reach 1,200 horsepower. While Audi's own power division takes a more refined approach, combining luxury, precision, and factory-backed enhancements, hitting roughly 700 to 740 horsepower. Basically, if the RS6 is already insane from the factory, these aftermarket divisions turn it into something borderline unhinged, giving enthusiasts even more reasons to salivate. Now, before we wrap this up, let's talk about the future, the C9 RS6, the next evolution of this legendary wagon, and the one that's got everyone talking. Audi teased a new A6 e-tron, which I think also came out, but people weren't feeling it at all, and you can't blame them. It looked flashy, futuristic, but it lacked soul and looked kind of fat. On top of that, it's literally electric, so that's a huge no from me, and everyone else as well. It wasn't the RS6 type. It was a poster for an electric concept movie, which could maybe work as an A6, but the RS name should only come with a combustion engine. But what made me really happy, and I think the same goes for many people, is the fact that they did come up with a new regular A6, which comes with some nice engine options, but also looks very good and aggressive, and nearly as good as the old RS6 without even being an S model. So there's hopes that the new RS6 will beat the old one after all. But what can we expect from the C9? Speculation is running wild. Will it keep a true V8, or will Audi disappoint us all? Rumors suggest a hybrid approach could be possible, keeping a combustion engine for that iconic RS6 growl, but pairing it with electric torque for insane launches. But at the same time, sometimes they say it's going to be fully combustion. Nevertheless, if done right, it could gap supercars off the line even easier than the C8, especially without the grandma in the back. The styling, early AI renders show a wider stance, sharper lines, and a more aggressive front end. Think of it as a Predator grown up. More angular, more purposeful, but still elegant enough that it doesn't scream, "Look at me." And while some fans worry it might lose the classic RS6 identity in favor of Tron-inspired tech, the hopeful part is that Audi knows exactly how much we love a V8 twin turbo. Take that away and you lose the magic. Keep it, and the C9 could easily become the most coveted RS6 yet. There's also the digital cockpit and futuristic interiors to think about. If Audi balances tech and usability, the C9 could feel like driving a spaceship with all the comfort and practicality of a modern wagon. Imagine heated seats, massive air suspension, launch control, and the readiness to fit your house in it. In short, the C9 RS6 could either be a masterpiece that respects the past while pushing the envelope, or a tech-heavy overcorrection like the AIE Tron. But one thing's certain, Audi has the blueprint. They know what an RS6 should feel like: fast, cold, unbothered, and untouchable. And if they get it right, the C9 won't just continue the legacy, it'll rewrite it. So yeah, there are faster cars, louder cars, flashier cars, but there's nothing like the RS6. It's built for chaos, it's dressed for success, and it's ready for war at any time, whether it's doing triple digits with a death wish, pulling up to a wedding like it's a business meeting, or yes, even being used in real-life robberies. It plays every role to perfection. The C8 RS6 is the final form. It's the boss-level car, the one that shows you've made it, and that you don't need to shout about it. Its theme song, still kerosene. Its mood, fast, cold, unbothered. Its legacy, untouchable.